Aloha mai kako. This is Mrs. Terrell, and we're going to continue on with the telephone communication. And what we're going to talk about tonight is dealing with distractions and answering or making the phone call. So before you make a phone call, make sure you do with all your distractions, you put everything on the side and focus on making the phone call. What I do personally is prior to I'm going to make a phone call, especially if it's a professional phone call, is I'll write down notes on a piece of paper of items that I want to cover. That way, when I'm speaking with someone, I don't get distracted with that. And I don't hang up going, oh, I should have covered that. So I write it down. And then as I'm speaking with them, I just check it off the list. Okay? So first, deal with distractions. Have a clear mind and have a clear purpose. There are 3 stages of the phone call. First is the introduction, the purpose of the call, and then the conclusion. So in the first stage, which is called the introduction, this is what you're going to do. You're going to identify yourself and the other party. And then establish the convenience of the call. Ask, is this a convenient time to talk? So for example, I'd say, aloha, this is Mrs. Terao from Kauai Community College. Mrs. Tabuchi, is this a convenient time to talk? And then you wait for them to answer yes and no. I even use this with my friends, my family, as well as professionally, because what I want you to remember is, or think about is, at whose convenience is the call? It's not at your convenience, it's at the caller's convenience. So if you're busy, then tell the person, I'm busy at this time, can you call me back? So that's why when you're making the phone call, I want you to identify yourself, identify who you're speaking with, and then ask, is this a convenient time to talk? It's just politer. The second thing, what's the purpose of the call? Exchange the courtesies. How are you? Are you busy? Is this a convenient time to talk? And then communicate your needs clearly. This is Mrs. Terao. I'm calling you, Mrs. Tabuchi, to discuss a workshop that we're going to be attending, and then ask questions. And then confirm what you're hearing, right? Oh, so the workshop is on Monday, November the 11th. Oh, sure, I'll be able to make that. So it's just confirming what you're hearing. We're going to have some more examples throughout this lesson. The third stage is the conclusion. It's the caller and the receiver coming to an understanding of action that needs to be taken. So if I'm understanding Mrs. Tabuchi, you're going to follow up with me about the meeting on Monday, November the 11th, and to make sure that we will meet in front of the library at 10 o'clock. Okay, and close the call politely. Thank you so much, Mrs. Tabuchi, and I really appreciate your time. And then hang up. Okay, so those are the 3 stages of a phone call. We're going to talk about some types of questions when you're on the phone call. You know, when you're asking for some clarifying questions or you're trying to get some answers. So most of you should know or understand about the difference between open-ended questions and closed-ended questions. So open questions call for an open type of answer, and they require more than a yes or a no. So open questions often begin with the who, what, where, why, and how. So you can ask them, what date is convenient for you? That's an open-ended question. They can't say yes. They have to then say, this date is convenient for you. So in my situation, I said Monday, November 11th, 10 a.m. Okay. Closed-ended questions, they call for a specific answer and often call for a yes or no or response that clearly answers the question. So those questions often begin with are you, do you, can, could, did, will, and would. So you can ask, will you be available at 4 p.m. on Friday? I happen to have said, I'll meet you at 10 a.m. on Monday, November the 11th. So those are doing the close-ended. Feedback questions. These types of questions focus on obtaining a specific information which gives the listener an opportunity to respond with a focused answer, often providing a choice or two or more options for which to select. So for example, you could say, would you prefer to meet us at the Lobster Pot restaurant at 12:30 or 12:45 for lunch? Or I could have asked Mrs. Tabuchi, Mrs. Tabuchi, would you prefer to meet at 10 o'clock a.m. on Monday, November 11th, or 10:15? So that's giving back a feedback where you kind of narrow down your choices and then they can select one. So the 3 different types of questions is open, closed, and feedback. Okay? So thank you and have a nice